Labor Day weekend. People are celebrating. People are spending time with friends and family. People may be having something to drink as they're out barbecuing. The police know this. They do what are called saturation patrols, which mean agencies from all over the state are going to be out in full force investigating everybody, stopping everybody for virtually anything. And then if you're even close to being under the influence, they will then process you for a DUI. They love to bump up their numbers around the holidays. I posted a video last night showing that they are already setting up different stations at police centers where they just process people right through. So let's talk about some tips. If you think you've had one too many, or if you think that you might be close or borderline, or you just want to exercise your rights, let's talk about some tips. Now, of course, please don't drink and drive. This is not a video to test, meaning don't get in the car after you've had something to drink and then employ these rules just to see if it's fun. It's not, I can guarantee you that. But if you are close, if you've had too many, if there's an emergency, if there's some reason why you're being stopped and the police are investigating you for DUI, let's talk about the DUI no-nos, the Labor Day DUI no-nos, things that you should not do if you're stopped, if the police are investigating you. So, number one, the first question that police ask almost every single time is, have you had anything to drink? Have you had one or two or three drinks? People will almost always say, I've had one, or I've had two, I've only had two, but it was 3 hours ago. That is not something that you want to do, okay? No admission at all. Now, I'm not telling you you should say, no, I have not had anything to drink. The proper way to respond to that is, officer, I've been advised not to answer these types of questions, so I will not be answering that. Now, that is just a non-response, in other words. We have seen cases, and this is getting more and more common, particularly out of Scottsdale and Mesa, where they will, if you respond to this and you say, I've had nothing to drink, or I've had 2 drinks, and they do test your blood and it comes back, they will actually charge you with the crime if the blood comes back higher than that. It's called false reporting. So if your results indicate that you may have had more than 1 drink or 2 drinks, they will charge you with an entirely separate crime on top of a DUI. So the proper way to address that question is to say, I've been advised not to answer that question. Don't make admissions to drinking. Don't say, even, I've just had one. Doesn't help you. It just gives them probable cause to move on to the next step of their investigation. The next, if they are investigating you for DUI and they pull you out of the car and they say, I want to check your eyes, or will you take these tests? You don't have to agree to take any of those tests on the side of the road. The HGN test is the pen test. It's the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. This is the test where they're looking at your eyes to see if there's any jerky movements. This is something that they do almost always at the very first test on the side of the road, something that will indicate whether you've been drinking, or they will claim that that's what it indicates. So you do not have to take that test. If they ask you to look into a pen, look into a flashlight, if they want you to take a pen test, you can respectfully decline to take that. Officer, I am not willing to take that test. I know that I don't have to. I'm not going to be taking that test. Thank you. The next test they want you to do is the walk and turn. This is almost always the second test. The walk and turn is where they ask you to walk 9 steps, turn around, walk back. It's not an easy test to take, okay? I've given an example of this test to people, Terry, if you're watching this, to other people around who are totally sober. I walk them through the instructions and ask them to take the test. They fail it even stone cold sober, okay? It's not an easy test to complete. You don't have to take it. If an officer is asking you to do the walk and turn test, respectfully decline. Same with the one leg stand test, okay? The one leg stand test is where you stand on one foot, you put your arms at your side, and you balance your foot, the other foot in front of you, okay? You have to count to about 30 seconds. They will then monitor you for swaying, or if you put your foot down, or things like that. Don't have to take that test. These are all called FSTs, Field Sobriety Test, or SSFTs, Standardized Field Sobriety Tests. Don't have to take any of those. You can just tell the officer, I respectfully decline to take these tests. Not a problem. No portable breath test. So people will often ask, do I have to take the breath test? The long and short of it is, if it's a handheld test, meaning this is something that they give you on the side of the road, this is something that an officer pulls out of his vehicle and says, blow into this device, you do not have to take that test. It's called a portable breath test, or what's called a preliminary breath test. What they're looking to do is is see what your blood alcohol content is based on the result of that test. That gives them probable cause to then arrest you, take you down into the station, and give you a more formal test. The portable breath test, the handheld test, that can't be used against you in court. Okay, it's not scientific. It just gives them enough evidence to then continue with the arrest. You do not have to take that test. Okay, if you refuse all of these tests and the police still arrest you, at that point they will take you in and they will read you some admonitions and they will ask you to take some other tests. At that point in time, it's very good to call an attorney. You can call our office, save our number, put it in your phone. It's 480-400-1355. Put that in your phone. If that is something that happens, give us a call, because the next test that you take, the intoxilizer, which is the big breath test that looks like a microwave, or if they're drawing blood or something like that, that has additional consequences. That's more of a complicated answer, and that can result in a license suspension and additional penalties for you, whereas the portable breath test is something you can refuse all day long with no additional penalties, no repercussions. If you are arrested, they will do what's called an alcohol influence report. They'll take you down into the station and they will ask you a series of questions. They'll ask you how much you had to eat, how much sleep you had, when was the last time you ate something, when was the last time, all blah, 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 blah. It's a big series of questions. They will also ask you a question on a scale of 0 to 10 or a scale of 1 to 10, how intoxicated or how impaired do you feel? Really, these tests are just meant to incriminate you even further. You don't have to answer any of those questions. You want to tell them, I'm not answering these questions, and refuse to do so. All right. What they're trying to do is really, if you answer on that scale of 0 to 10, anything that is not a 0 is incriminating. Okay, because Arizona has what's called impaired to the slightest degree laws, which means if you say a 1 out of a 10, which may mean essentially nothing to you, that still means that you're impaired, and so they can still move forward with a DUI against you. So these are the big no-nos, 6 no-nos. You do not have to do any of these things if you are stopped and under investigation for DUI. If they continue to charge you with the DUI, from that point forward, things can get a little bit more complicated, but we're happy to walk you through that. So if you need our help, if somebody you know or love needs our help, have them give us a call. Robert Gruler with the R&R Law Group. We're located out of Scottsdale. We have an office on in the West Valley in Avondale. Happy to meet with you. We offer free case evaluations, and we can put together a very solid game plan if you or somebody you know has been charged with DUI. Hopefully you don't need to call us, but if you do, we'll be here to help. Have a very safe and fun Labor Day weekend. Take care.